wake up early. You stay up late. You watch the motivational videos. You make the plans. You write the goals down. You tell yourself that this time will be different. And for a while, it feels like it actually might be. But then weeks pass, then months, and when you look around, nothing has really moved. You are still in the same place, carrying the same dreams, feeling the same quiet frustration that you cannot fully explain. And the most painful part is not the failure. The most painful part is that you cannot even call yourself lazy. Because you are not. You are trying. You have always been trying. So why is nothing working? Today, we are going to answer that question, not with motivation, not with a list of habits, but with the truth about what is actually happening inside the minds of people who try the hardest and move the least. From the time we were children, we were handed one simple formula. Work hard, and you will succeed. Put in the effort, and the results will follow. It sounds logical. It sounds fair. And for a long time, most of us believed it completely. But here is what nobody told you. Hard work is only one piece of the equation. And for some people, no matter how many pieces they add, the picture never comes together. Not because they are not working hard enough, but because the internal system running underneath all that effort is broken in a way that effort alone cannot fix. Think about it this way. Imagine running as fast as you possibly can, every muscle burning, every breath pushed to its limit. Now imagine you are running in the wrong direction. Or worse, imagine you are running on a treadmill. Maximum effort. Zero movement. This is not a motivation problem. This is a direction problem, and the direction is always set from the inside. Before we go any deeper, there is something important that needs to be said. The people we are talking about today are not lazy. They are not weak. They are not making excuses. They are trapped inside a pattern that psychologists call pseudo-effort. It is the experience of feeling extremely busy, extremely productive, and yet producing almost nothing of real value. The brain is firing, the body is moving, the calendar is full. But the needle never moves. And the reason this happens is because the mind has quietly confused motion with progress. Researching the plan feels like executing the plan. Talking about the goal feels like working toward the goal. Preparing to start feels like starting. And so the person stays endlessly in motion without ever truly moving forward. If this sounds familiar, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not the problem. Your programming is, and programming can be changed. But first, you have to understand where it came from. To find the real root of this pattern, we have to go back, not to last year, not to the last failure. We have to go back to childhood. For many people who carry this pattern, something very specific happened early in life. They were raised in an environment where effort was praised, but results were either ignored or punished. A parent who said, "I am proud of you for trying," but never celebrated a win. A school system that graded effort over outcome. A home where achieving something big felt dangerous because it was followed by higher expectations or criticism. And so the child learned something very quietly. Trying is safe. Succeeding is complicated. Trying gets you love. Succeeding gets you pressure. The nervous system absorbed this lesson the way it absorbs everything in childhood, completely and permanently. And now, as an adult, every time real success gets close, something deep inside pulls the brakes. Not out of laziness, out of protection. There is also another side to this. Some children failed once at something that mattered, and the people around them made them feel that the failure said something permanent about who they were. Not, "You failed at this thing," but, "You are someone who fails." And that identity, once planted, becomes incredibly difficult to escape. Because now, trying hard without succeeding actually feels safer than truly committing. If you never fully commit, you never fully fail. And if you never fully fail, that old wound never has to open again. Now we get to the part that most people never expect, the part that feels almost impossible to admit. Many of the people who try the hardest and succeed at the least are not afraid of failure. They are afraid of success. Read that again if you need to, because it sounds strange. Why would anyone be afraid of the thing they say they want most? Here is why. Success means change. It means a new version of your life, a new version of your identity, new relationships, new responsibilities, and a new version of yourself that you have never met before. And the human mind does not fear pain nearly as much as it fears the unknown. The life you are living right now, no matter how frustrating, is familiar. Your brain knows it. It knows how to survive it. It knows what to expect. But a successful version of your life? That is uncharted territory. And the brain treats uncharted territory the same way it treats danger. So, what does it do? It self-sabotages. Quietly, cleverly, in ways that look like bad luck, poor timing, or simply not being ready yet. It creates distractions that feel urgent. It introduces doubt right at the moment of momentum. It finds reasons to slow down every time the finish line gets close. This is not weakness. This is your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do, keeping you safe from the unknown. The problem is that the unknown it is protecting you from is actually your own potential. Ask yourself this honestly. If everything you said you wanted suddenly appeared in your life tomorrow, the success, the recognition, the results, would you feel joy? Or would some quiet part of you feel terrified? Everything we have talked about so far has existed for generations. But something happened in the last decade that made this pattern significantly worse. And that something is the world we now live in. Social media did not create this problem, but it fed it in a way nothing ever had before. Because for the first time in human history, the act of trying became publicly visible, and public visibility brought public reward. You post about your morning routine, and people call you disciplined. You share your goal, and people cheer for you. You document your process, and people follow along. And suddenly, the brain discovers something dangerous. The reward it was looking for, the validation, the recognition, the sense of being seen is available without the result. It is available just for performing the effort. And so, the effort becomes a performance. The journal becomes content. The late nights become a story. The struggle becomes a brand. And deep underneath all of it, the actual work quietly stops happening. Because the brain already got what it needed. It got the applause without ever finishing the show. This is not a character flaw. This is a perfectly logical response to a broken system of rewards. But it is keeping an entire generation stuck in the most productive-looking paralysis the world has ever seen. This is the part I want you to sit with, because this is where the pattern goes from painful to invisible. At some point, for many of these people, trying stopped being a method. It became an identity. They are no longer someone who is working toward something. They are someone who tries hard. That is who they are. That is what defines them. And this identity, as quietly comforting as it feels, is actually a prison. Because as long as they are trying, they cannot be called lazy. As long as they are working, they cannot be called a failure. The effort is not armor against the outside world. It is armor against the inside voice that has always whispered that they are not enough. And here is the cruelest part of all. The armor works. People around them see the effort, and they respect it. They say things like, "At least you're trying," and "You work so hard." And that feels like love. That feels like being seen. So why would anyone give that up for the uncertain, terrifying risk of actually finishing something and waiting to see if the world approves of the result? This is why they stay. Not because they are giving up, but because, in a very painful way, the trying is working. Just not in the direction they say they want to go.